Great to see everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose. It's wonderful to see you here in all of your beauty. And I also welcome the people that are watching us online. Thank you so much for joining us in the Kindness Cathedral, the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living, a center of love where we are love, share love, and serve love. I'm going to pass it over to Lonnie, our board president.
Good morning, everyone. So a couple things. It looks like, I don't know about you, but it looks like we're going to have some choir action today. Which is very fitting because we have some beautiful, beautiful practitioners in the house for a little ceremony. And Bonnie, you know the sign.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
You know, a lot going on today. I don't want her to forget.
Yeah, thanks.
Like the offering or the practitioners or singing in the choir. Should I
to
keep going on?
I forgot to pray last week, so
praying.
Yeah.
Maybe the sermon.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Just saying. So just welcome and settle in, and it's a morning of love and beauty and joy and friendship.
Thanks, Lonnie. All right, so we're going to just do a blessing for the children either here or not here. So if you would just repeat after me. Think of the child in your heart. Think of any children that you know. We love you. We bless you. We believe in you. You are the face of God. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. And now let's go ahead and we'll start with prayer. So Christine is our practitioner who's serving today. And she is going to lead us in prayer.
Good morning, everyone. I invite the practitioners and ministers to stand at home or in the sanctuary. Welcome, everyone. So wonderful that we can all be here today for this service. And I invite you to just be here, be present, be here now, knowing that God is all there is. Whatever name you want to call that pure energy of love that unites us all in our hearts and around the world and in the sanctuary and people watching the live stream later on Facebook. Just so grateful to know God is all and we are all one with that God presence, that love presence. And here today, I know that the service is divinely blessed, that Bonnie's words are inspiring and a blessing. The music from Chris is always a blessing. So grateful for the tech team, the office staff, the volunteers, the greeters, the Prasad bookstore, and anyone if I didn't mention you. So grateful for all of you here. Everyone contributing to making this an experience of love and peace and grace. So grateful to know that this is the truth. And with a heart that is divinely and rejoicing in gratitude, I release these words into the law. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. And let's continue to breathe deeply and to move into that spaciousness, into our heart center. Breathing deeply and becoming anchored in that beautiful, beautiful space that is the presence of the indwelling divine. Let us rest there as we listen to the words of our sacred reading.
Returning the Gift by Robin Wall Kimmerer in honor of Earth Day. In the teaching of my Potawatomi ancestors, responsibilities and gifts are understood as two sides of the same coin. The possession of a gift is coupled with a duty to use it for the benefit of all. A thrush is given the gift of song, and so it has a responsibility to greet the day with music. Salmon have the gift of travel, so they accept the duty of carrying food upriver. So when we ask ourselves, what is our responsibility to the earth? We are also asking, what is our gift? As human people, most recently evolved here, we lack the gifts of our companion species, of nitrogen fixation pollination, and 3,000-mile migration under magnetic guidance. We can't even photosynthesize. But we carry gifts of our own, which the earth urgently needs. Among the most potent of these is gratitude. Gratitude may seem like weak tea given the challenges that lie before us, but it is a powerful medicine, much more than a simple thank you. Giving thanks implies recognition not only of the gift, but of the giver. When I eat an apple, my gratitude is directed to that wide-armed tree whose tart offerings are now in my mouth, whose life has become my own. Gratitude is founded on the deep knowing that our very existence relies on the gifts of beings who can in fact photosynthesize. Gratitude propels the recognition of the personhood of all beings and challenges the fallacy of human exceptionalism, the idea that we are somehow better, more deserving of the wealth and services of the earth than other species. The evolutionary advantage for cultures of gratitude is compelling. This human emotion has adaptive value because it engenders practical outcomes for sustainability. The practice of gratitude can, in a very real way, lead to the practice of self-restraint, of taking only what we need. Acknowledging the gifts that surround us creates a sense of satisfaction, a feeling of enoughness, which is an antidote to the societal messages that drill into our spirits, telling us we must have more. Practicing contentment is a radical act in a consumption-driven society. We human people have protocols for gratitude. We apply them formally to one another. We say thank you. We understand that receiving a gift incurs a responsibility to give a gift in return. The next step in our cultural evolution, if we are to persist as a species on this beautiful planet, is to expand our protocols for gratitude to the living earth. Amen.
So let us take a moment just to reflect on this beautiful earth, our home, our mother, and just think of at least 3 things that bring that surge of gratitude into your heart. And how wonderful it is to be connected all together with all beings that are animate, sentient, and those that seem to be inanimate. Absolutely knowing that it is all stardust, that it is all the cosmos, and that it is all the life and the love of spirit, blessing us in infinite ways. Another name for the life of spirit is I am. And so as we sing together our chant, I am remembering who I am, we remember our place in the scheme of things. That yes, the life of God lives and moves and has its perfect being through each of us, but the life of spirit, the life of love, the life of God also lives and moves and has its perfect being through everything. We feel the connectivity, we feel the oneness, we feel the wholeness of all things as we sing together, I am remembering who I am. in the spaciousness of this divine remembrance. Let us breathe in deeply. And then exhale, opening our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. Look in the eyes of the children. Feel the touch of their hands. Okay, what's next? How fun. Let's hear it for the choir again. Beautiful. This is the first time we've had live choir. Well, we had it on Christmas Eve, but the first time since the pandemic started. So it's really so touching that little bits and pieces are coming back together. And normally we have, the choir loft is filled with what we call the flat choir, which is the mystics, these cardboard cutouts. And some of you are fortunate enough to be sitting next to a flat choir member. I think some of them went away, but my dog Saraswati was sitting there next to Bob and Mari. Let's hold up Saraswati. She's dressed as a nun. Yeah, there she is, right. You can turn her around so everybody can see her, yeah. Eckhart Tolle's looking pretty creepy up there in the balcony. He's kind of staring at me, but I think I can cope. But anyway, all that aside, we have a ritual that we want to do this morning, as opposed to going straight into the message. We have these people in our church that we call practitioners, and I would say the best description of them is that they are prayer counselors and also prayer ministers. And they assist the church in so many wonderful, wonderful ways. Just too many to name, but they are. I'm not sure that I am, but let's give it a whirl, see what happens. So the talk today is about guiding principles, and I'm just was curious if anybody's struggling with anything right now, how might you apply a guiding principle to help you in your struggles, to help you overcome something that may feel like an obstacle to you? I'm feeling an obstacle right now, in that the slide is not changing. I guess you have to turn it on. There it is, yay, okay. So are there times when you don't know how to get to where you need to go? Whether it's overcoming, like I said, a challenge, overcoming an obstacle, maybe there's a difficult person in your life, maybe there's a difficult financial situation, and you know that you want to be from here and go there. So how do we deal with that? Well, there's a parable. A Buddhist monk was standing by a river, and he really, really, really wanted to cross that river. But the river was turbulent, and it looked like it was deep, and it looked like the rocks were slippery, and he didn't know how to get from one side to the other. But then a miracle happened, and he saw another Buddhist monk who was on the other side. And so the first Buddhist monk called to the second Buddhist monk, and he said, my brother, how did you get to the other side? And the second Buddhist monk said, wait a minute, you are on the other side. It's kind of a mystery, isn't it? It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor that I think the first part of the metaphor is that we all have, it may seem like we all have a river Jordan or a river something or other to cross. Like I said before, like we're here and we want to get over there. We want to be past this particular thing that we're struggling with in our lives. But it's also a perspective parable. It's a perspective metaphor in that the solution is where you are. The monk was already where he was. It's a matter of perspective to the other side. We want to get to the other side, but maybe the other side is right where we are. Maybe the other side of a situation is right where we are. As Eric Butterworth says, there is an allness in every illness, that hidden within every illness, whether it's an illness of the body or an illness of the soul or the heart, there is an allness in every illness. And also, there is a sufficiency hidden in every insufficiency. And so guiding principles are embedded in every single obstacle that we encounter. In fact, when an obstacle comes up, we can celebrate because it gives us an opportunity to go deeper into our principles, to go deeper into our spiritual truth, and to rise into a new place of being that is right where we are. That's a paradox, right? To rise into a new place of being that is already with us, but to be able to apply the spiritual principles on a deeper level. So, what is a guiding principle? It's a God quality. So in this spiritual teaching, if you're not familiar with God qualities, we call God qualities things like love or peace or joy, happiness, integrity, justice, respect, all of those things, all of those that some might call virtues that are present within each of us, but sometimes need to be awakened. A God quality feels good. It feels like an alignment. When we step into a God quality, let's say we step into greater kindness or greater love, it feels like something has shifted and there's an alignment in our soul when we start to embody a God quality. A God quality is also immeasurable and priceless. That's part of the way you can tell if something that you're calling forth is truly a God quality, in that you can't measure it. You cannot measure it, and it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. It means that you get it for free, but it's priceless. And then, seen or unseen, a God quality is there. Just like I was saying before, in that in every obstacle there is an opportunity embedded in it. We can't always see the opportunity, but it is there. Cynthia Bourgeault likens it to the moon. When you look at the moon and sometimes it's full, right? And then the moon disappears, it goes through phases and it disappears, but the moon is still there. Imagine the first people of the earth when they saw a full moon and they're like, wow, that's awesome. And then it went away and they're like, well, it's nice while it lasted, right? A God quality is like the moon. It is always there, even when we can't see it. God qualities, they're omnipresent and always present. They are everywhere, everywhere. That's compost. My favorite thing, as you may know. Last Sunday on Easter, I talked about how Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist teacher, talked about compost, and he talked about roses and garbage, how they're really the same thing, that a mystic will be able to look at a rose and see that it will someday become garbage or compost, and a mystic will also be able to look at garbage and see that it came from a rose, that the two are inexplicably intertwined. And so God qualities are always present. And God qualities are things, as I said, like love, joy, peace, integrity, abundance, order, respect, or other. Anything that feels good, that feels like it's deep and spiritual and priceless and immeasurable. Those things are always present. But like the garbage in the rose, we can't always see them. We can't always see the rose in the garbage, right? So we just are aware that even when we can't see it, something in us shifts to know that even in the greatest adversity, there is a God quality present that is longing to emerge. God qualities are what I like to call ambassadors of wholeness. This teaching is very much about wholeness. The Science of Mind teaching is very much about the principle of wholeness, which means that, first of all, there is only one life. That life is the life of spirit, and we all are one with that life. Not only us here in this center, but everything, everywhere, is the life of that one life that is spirit. That's wholeness. And that we unify with that life, that we call it our own, and we know that it belongs to everybody, that we're all connected, not only through breath, but through being. That there is this beautiful energy that connects all of us. And it's a mystery. It's hard for what we call the binary operating system, the ego or the brain, to figure out what that is, but it's often captured in spiritual sayings. One of the reasons I have an ocean picture here is that Rumi said that we are not, well, I'm paraphrasing him and kind of making a cross between Rumi and Mother Teresa here, but I don't think they knew each other. But anyway, maybe on the other side they know each other. Mother Teresa said we are all a drop in the ocean. We are only a drop in the ocean, but Rumi said we are also the ocean in a drop. So that quality of ocean is in every single one of us. This Buddhist teacher said, if the cosmos exists, then the smallest speck of dust exists. If the cosmos exists, then the smallest speck of dust exists. And if the smallest speck of dust doesn't exist, then the whole cosmos doesn't exist. Let's sit with that for a minute. If the cosmos exists, then the smallest speck of dust is part of existence, and therefore important. But if the smallest speck of dust doesn't exist, then it means the cosmos doesn't exist. That's quite a leap in consciousness. But let's look at it in terms of, say, a God quality, such as love. If the cosmos exists, then the smallest speck of love exists, even when you can't see it. And if the smallest speck of love doesn't exist, then the whole cosmos doesn't exist. Now, this would be a conversation, really. This is much more of a conversation piece than a sermon piece. But if you want to, go ahead, go home and think about this. Think about the intertwining of everything. Think about that in God there is no great or small, that everything just is. And recognize that we are stardust, quoting my friend Joni Mitchell, my mentor Joni Mitchell, I don't know her personally, but, but that we are stardust and we're returning to that consciousness of stardust. How beautiful is that? And what are we going to do with that energy? Well, we have to recognize it, first of all. We have to recognize our oneness. We have to recognize God qualities. And then we have to unify with it, unifying with the fact that we truly are stardust, that we truly are the cosmos, that we truly are the love that exists everywhere, that we truly are the kindness that exists everywhere, the joy that exists everywhere, that in every single thing is unified with love and joy and peace and happiness. Again, even when we can't see it, remember the moon, even when we can't see it, it is there. And then, sometimes, to help us see it better, sometimes renunciation is required. We don't use the word renunciation a lot in this teaching, but I've come across it recently in a conversation I was having with one of my spiritual teachers. Sometimes renunciation is required, and we're not always fond of renunciation. What can we renounce? Mainly, we're renouncing our attachment. You know, some of the great mystics say that we really can have what we want, we just are not supposed to attach to it. Because when we attach to things, we fail to recognize the impermanent nature of existence, and we're kind of fighting against truth. But some things that we might want to consider renouncing if we're trying to navigate a problem or a situation, trying to find a solution, we might want to renounce the urge and the attachment to changing others. This is a dog who has had a makeover. And I ask you, my brothers and sisters in Ernest, I ask you, have you ever tried to do, let's say, a spousal makeover, right? I know I have. Have you ever tried to change somebody, desperately needing somebody to change so that they can be more like you want them to be, right? We may need to renounce our attachment to changing others. Sorry, but it's true. We may need to also renounce our attachment to form, right? So often, when we have a problem, we say the solution looks like this. The solution has to look like this, or I won't be satisfied. You know, this brings me to something I meant to say before. I've told you this before, but it bears repeating because I use this principle in my life a lot. I used to occasionally counsel like couples, married couples, and I don't feel that I'm very good at it, so I don't do it anymore. There's practitioners that are much more qualified to do that than I am. But anyway, one of the things that I did, one of the few tricks that I had up my sleeve was I would ask them to think of a God quality that they could both agree upon, right? Maybe something like love. Love. We'll agree upon love. Does that mean I get to change him to be more loving? No. I would ask them to agree upon a God quality, a principle, release the need to change others, and also release the attachment to the form that the love the form that the love needed to take. So we find a God quality that wants to be expressed. We release the need to change others, and we also release our attachment to form. And when we release our attachment to form, then the universe can surprise us, right? Because our knowledge of what can be is limited, but the universe's knowledge of what can be is infinite. So we find a God quality, we release the need to change anything other than ourselves, and then we also release the attachment to the form that it needs to take. Is anyone here obsessed with making Excel spreadsheets? Oh, aren't you sweet? Oh, she's really good at it. Doreen is good at it too. Oh, yeah, yeah. I love an Excel spreadsheet because I feel like if it's in Excel, I have some control because if it's in Excel, it's going to happen. It doesn't really work, does it? I make plans, the best laid plans of mice and men, right? Often go astray. That's not the real poem, but that's basically the gist of it, right? So attachment to form. We relinquish, we renounce attachment to form. And the other thing is the need for proof that it's working. Oh. Okay, show of hands again, or show of pinkies if you're shy. How many of you have ever planted a seed and then dug it up to see if it's growing? Oh, more than me. I feel so much better about myself right now. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've done that many times. But it's not only digging up seeds, it's like planting seeds of prayer. You know, I have done prayers with people, with practitioners, and my eye has been, you know, one eye open. Is it working yet? Is it working yet? Is it working yet? Same with meditation. Same with meditation. You do the meditation, and you're like, well, I guess I'm enlightened now. Because I meditated that one time, and you know, so we're always looking for proof. We're always attached to the proof that what we're doing is working. When the truth is, again, like the moon, the process is often hidden until we're ready to see it. How about that? That kind of stinks, doesn't it? You know, it's like we have to have the vision first, and then the proof comes after. That God is a rascal, right? Just a rascal. But faith is good. It is good to build faith. It is good to build faith and good to relinquish the need for proof and to start building these kind of intangible, immeasurable spiritual muscles that we have, this muscle of faith that we have that's just such a beautiful thing. It really is the solution to everything, right? Okay. So another thing about non-clinging or renunciation or non-attachment, whatever it is you want to call it, release, we usually call it release in this teaching, is that it invokes subtle or mystical realms. And what I said that before about how, you know, when we're looking for a form and we know what the solution needs to look like, we know how the other person needs to change, and we need proof, all of those things are limiting to us. But if we're invoking subtler mystical realms, that opens us up to the infinite power and presence of God. That opens us up to the infinite capacity of God to create something through us or for us that is beyond our human understanding, beyond the limitations of what we've known in the past. I think a beautiful symbol of this is that. Does anybody know what that is? Yes, it's birds. It's a murmuration of starlings, right? Here on Earth Day, what a beautiful, or around Earth Day, what a beautiful thing to celebrate is the flight of birds. And, you know, it's just so beautiful how they do this pattern. And that's just one of many patterns that they do. You've probably seen the murmuration of starlings. It looks like a big bird flying through the cosmos, and then there's another one that looks like a heart, and I have a video of it that I'll show sometime. But that's a mystical realm that all of these birds are flying somehow in concert. And it's a metaphor for the universe, that there are many, many things that we have no control over that are flying together in concert. They're flying together. And it's also this beautiful metaphor that everything is simultaneously significant and insignificant. Like this pattern, to me, is so significant. And the third bird from the left, right? The third bird from the left probably doesn't know that he is significant. That's like a theater term, right? We say, who did you play in the show? Well, I was the third girl from the left, you know? But the third bird from the left probably doesn't know that he is significant, but if he wasn't there, the pattern wouldn't be the same. And the same thing is true for all of us. We are simultaneously so important to this universe. Our capacity to work with spiritual principles is so important, and yet at the same time it feels insignificant because it feels small, and sometimes it feels like it isn't even working. But trust with me that it is part of a beautiful, beautiful pattern of grace that is evolving through all things. The other thing about this is just to remember, as this pattern of grace, as our spiritual work, even if we don't trust it at first, even if we have to let go of a whole bunch of stuff, even if we can't see it, if it's like the moon and we can't see it, it is part of a greater pattern of emergence. And all of the things that are going on in the world, all of the things that might trouble us, all of the things that might bring us stress, what if those things too are also a greater pattern of emergence that we can't see right now? Some of us may be starting to see it. Some of us probably have already identified blessings that have come from various things that have happened in the last few years. But it's all part of emergence. I believe that to be true because of just studying mystical theology and also looking at nature and the emergence that happens in nature as in this murmuration of starlings. So whatever we're going through, it's part of an emergence, and it's not a stopping point. You know, one of the things that I often talk about is back in the day when we used to play videos, right? I don't know why this works better with a video, but like let's say you're watching The Sound of Music and you pull out the video, you give up in the video, like right when Fräulein Maria goes to the von Trapp children and they're giving her a hard time. And you would say to yourself, well, that's a movie about someone who A, couldn't hack it as a nun, and B, couldn't even hack it as a governess, right? What happens with us is that we often pull out that video too soon, that we're in process and that something better is coming, but we give up and we say, life is this way, this is a struggle, this is insurmountable, but we just have to keep moving through and recognize that we are part of a greater emergence. Your practice matters. Speaking of mattering, your practice matters. Our practice matters. Part of the practice is renouncing the attachment to form-based solution, right? We release the attachment to the form. You know, if you think of a problem that you have right now and you're probably coming up with all kinds of lists of what the solution needs to look like, just for a minute, just let go of that. Just let go of what the solution needs to look like. And just allow a little room for grace to come in. And you can pick it up again if you want to, but just practice for one moment, letting go of the form of the solution, and just feel that spaciousness. We also renounce attachment to known solutions, right? Again, same thing, just do it again. Take a moment to just look at what you think you know, and just let it go. Let it go. And just rest in that spaciousness, knowing that that is room for God, room for love. And then we surrender and trust one or more of the God qualities to guide you, whatever it is. Part of that work is discerning what God quality is yours to hold. So the practice is seeing the problem and renouncing, as I just said, renouncing all of the attachments to the way the solution needs to look. But it's also asking, what do I want to feel? What do I want to feel in terms of God qualities? Do I want to feel greater love? Do I want to feel greater peace? Do I want to feel greater joy? Do I want to feel a deeper sense of integrity? Do I want to feel a deeper sense of truthfulness to myself and all beings? Do I want to feel a deeper sense of respect, not only for myself, but for all beings? So we ask ourselves, what do we want to feel? Keep it simple, keep it short. What do I want to feel? And then we identify that as a God quality. What God quality wants to emerge? Usually one word is best: love, truth, peace, happiness. But you can have more than one. You can have love, truth, peace, and happiness. Okay? And then we discern the God quality and we usher it into detached form. We allow it to assume the form that it wants to assume, the greater love, the greater peace, the greater happiness. But we help it along through meditation off the mat, through practice in the real world. Actions of love, care, attention. Notice when that God quality is showing up. If you want more love, it doesn't need to show up as a spouse or a partner. It can show up as a puppy, as a little child who comes up to you and hugs you. Start noticing how omnipresent these God qualities are, and then give thanks for it, as it said in the reading, giving thanks for our Mother Earth, giving thanks for all of the beautiful things that are happening in your life right now, because I trust that the beauty in your life outweighs what is challenging in our lives, right? And specific applications of the God qualities, the principle, the guiding principle, help our garden grow, help our grace grow. I'm going to give you an example of this, how this worked in the life of this center. Some of you may know this, but our beloved office manager, Annette, who has worked here with me I've been here about 18 years, and she's been here about 16 years. She told me at the end of last year that she wanted to retire. I know. I know. And there's Barbie, too. Barbie was also going to move on for other reasons, but Annette and Barbie both were going to move on. We didn't know what to do. I went over to Lonnie's house with 5 or 6 spreadsheets. Here's a picture of Lonnie. Now that's an old picture, but it's kind of out of focus, but Lonnie loves a dumpster, okay? This is during a church cleanup day, I think, because I don't really recognize the surroundings. Do you go into other dumpsters besides the church dumpsters? That's Lonnie jumping around in a dumpster. Anyway, I went over to Lonnie's house, and we sat there with our many spreadsheets, and we just looked at them and kind of drooled, kind of didn't know what to do. Nothing made sense. We couldn't find a solution. We didn't know what to do, and we wanted a solution because we want the well-being of the church. Lonnie is the board president, by the way, for those of you who don't know. And so we talked and we discussed and we stressed, and we might have prayed a little. And then as I was about to leave, Lonnie said something that turned my consciousness around. And she said, you know what? We're looking for somebody to serve the needs of the church. What if the needs of the church could be a great gift to somebody who has exactly what we need to give? So we moved from being served to offering service to somebody through this open position. And that led me to contemplate more God qualities. That led me to contemplate, okay, what are we actually going to give this person that comes to work with us? Well, a very joyful work environment, by the way, a beautiful congregation, a wonderful church where it is a privilege to serve, an opportunity to be at a job that actually grows your spirit and grows your heart. So much more, because it truly is a privilege to serve here. And so we pondered that. We sat with the God qualities for a while, and then through, you know how I said that the God qualities are often hidden? They're like the moon. Well, this moon was taking a long time to show up, let me tell you. It was really hidden. I was like one of the indigenous people, like, well, the moon's gone. What are we going to do? Because, by the way, I meant to mention that Annette is fantastic. I mean, she's been here for 16 years, and she's a great asset to the church in terms of not only what she does, but also her personality. She has a sense of humor, and she relates well to my bizarre sense of humor. And the same with Barbie, too. Barbie is a great asset as well, just a beautiful artistic soul. But anyway, sat with these God qualities, started expanding it into all of those things. We're offering compassion, we're offering support, we're offering service, we're offering generosity, we're offering spiritual wisdom, we're offering spiritual truth. Somebody's going to need that. Somebody's going to need that, and they're going to want to come here. They're going to want to work here. And guess who showed up? Jennifer Hadrys. So for those of you who don't know, Jennifer Hadrys is a practitioner here. She's actually training with Annette right now, and she's a ministerial student. She's about to become a minister, and she really wanted a position where she could learn more about running a church. And so she was grateful to have this position. And she's already bringing such strength and such goodness to this position that we know that God had a hand and a foot and a leg and a knee and an elbow in it. God elbowed me and Lonnie aside with our plans and said, just wait, let me show you what I can do. But the even better news is that Jennifer is really flexible, and she may not want to work all the hours that she needs to work. So Barbie is sticking around for a little bit. That's Barbie dressed in one of her costumes called the Church Lady, based on the Saturday Night Live Church Lady, right? See what I mean? This is what we do here. We kind of roll in a different way. And the other good news is that Annette is sticking around a little bit too. Isn't that great? Yeah. Annette was so excited that she, no. That's actually, just so you know, that's from an old picture from an Easter Sunday where Annette accidentally walked into a fountain and it went all over the front of her dress. And then she had to walk in front of the whole church, and we were like, what are you going to do? I think it was Peter who said, why don't you turn your dress around? And I'm like, oh, absolutely, because a huge wet spot on the back is so much better than a huge wet spot in the beginning. But then it was Bernie, our practitioner emeritus, who said, here's a huge basket. Just carry this Easter basket in front of you. And nobody will know. Until now, people, there you go. So I want us to do one quick thing before we close. Let's all bellow after me. Say, thank you, Barbie. Thank you, Barbie. And let's bellow, thank you, Jennifer, who's in there. Thank you, Jennifer. And let's bellow, thank you, Annette. Thank you. And let's also bellow, thank you, Lonnie, because she supported me so much in this. Thank you, Lonnie. Yay. All right. So, again, values, respect, transparency, kindness, good for all. It's been a beautiful process, and so much more beautiful than what was represented on my spreadsheet, I have to confess. So if you're stuck in a problem, here's what you do, okay? There is nothing to be healed, quoting Ernest Holmes, there is nothing to be healed, only a God quality to be, wait for it. Good, some of you know the answer, revealed, right? And also embodied, doing the work of making the word flesh, bringing that spirit into form through gratitude and all of the things we talked about, practicing, noticing, attention, all of those things. There is nothing to be healed, only a God quality to be revealed. And if you apply that in your lives, look at a place where you might feel stuck and just say, what God quality wants to come through me right here and right now? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to renounce? What do I need to release? Whatever word works for you, I guarantee that your lives will shine. If we renounce attachment and then invoke what is best for all, and that was part of our work process with the office staff, is that we really, really wanted to try and invoke what was best for all, greater than a compromise, but a quadruple win that included the church in that loop. What is best for all. We invoke what is best for all, then we inspire wholeness. This gives room for wholeness to show up. Wholeness has a place to shine and to show itself so that we can be inspired by it. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. And that doesn't mean a place that you get to go when you die. The kingdom of heaven is at hand right here and right now. And as we said last week on Easter Sunday, quoting Neil Douglas Klotz, who is an Aramaic translator of the wisdom of Jesus, he said that the kingdom of heaven can also be defined as the I can-ness of God right here on earth. God moving through us in an I can spirit, like anything is possible. It's the invincibility of the I am presence that we sing about every single Sunday, the I am presence that lives and moves and has its being in each and every one of us and in every single person, every single being. And it is invincible. And we become that invincibility, yes, through deep surrender to something that we all could really enjoy surrendering to. The grace, the power, the love, the spirit, the joy that is immeasurable and priceless when we say yes to it. Let's surrender now. Let us pray. And so I turn within to rest in this beauty and this presence and this love and to trust and know that it is all God. That God is love, power, presence, peace, beauty, wisdom, joy, all of these things, so much more. and that all of this is available to every single person here, every single person sitting in this sanctuary and beyond, everybody in the world, every being everywhere. And so I see and unify as I see the wholeness in all things, the wholeness and the grace and the power and the peace in myself and in all beings everywhere. And so from this place of recognition and unification, from this place, I speak the truth for my life and the life of everyone here. That in every situation, every sense of adversity or opposition or obstacle, that there is a God presence, a God power, a God quality that is waiting to be revealed. And so together we do the spiritual work of lifting each other up in our sensibility to reveal that God presence, that power, and to rest in love as love, to rest in joy as joy, to rest in invincibility as invincibility, to rest in the truth of our being as the truth of our being, to rest in whatever God quality wishes to be expressed because it is seeking to be expressed through each of us. And I know that transformation comes from this place. I know that lives are changed and hearts are open, and that our transformation blesses the entire world all around us, beyond the world, into the cosmos. That we are like that murmuration of starlings that creates this beautiful pattern in the mystery of the divine, in the mystery of the cosmos. And so I'm just so grateful for the transformation that I know is taking place here right now through all of us. So grateful for Spirit's plan, so grateful for surrender, so grateful for our willingness to just let go and allow Spirit to move through us in mystical ways. I'm so grateful for God. And I'm grateful for this teaching and everything that it has taught all of us today and other days. Grateful for all paths to God, churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams, all paths. And with a heart that is so filled with gratitude and so filled with love, I say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, love. And I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste. Hey there.
Good job.
Thank you.
You
Thank
remembered
you.
everything.
I did. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
There was a lot going on
There were
today.
a lot of plates in
There
the
were
air.
a lot
Yeah.
of spinning plates.
Yeah.
I really, really like that third bird from the left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, how many times have you felt like maybe the fourth or the fifth bird from the left? That you didn't know you were part of something bigger,
Right.
and you just thought you were moving over farther to the left.
Yeah.
But this morning, it's so good that we come together and that we do this together, that we're not in it alone. And I wanted to bring something to awareness because we have our beautiful practitioner core here this morning, is that in the back now, behind the seats, there is a prayer request. And if you're struggling with something that you feel is so much bigger than you that you don't know how you're going to achieve it, what can we do? We can ask for prayer. And this beautiful core prayer group that congregated today as practitioners showing up, that's who will pray for you. And we've weathered many, many things by the power of prayer. So I invite you this morning, in addition to the offering, is to, do a prayer request. There's got to be something that we can assist you with, or we can support you with, or that we can rejoice with you with. So take the time to do that.
Thanks, Lonnie.
So this morning for our offering, I invite you to place your offering over your heart and repeat after me. We trust in Spirit.
We trust in Spirit.
Love is a giver and receiver of all that we are.
Love is the giver and receiver of all that we are.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
Our gifts bless many.
Our gifts bless many.
And return to us multiplied in miraculous ways.
And return to us multiplied in miraculous ways.
So that we may give again.
So that we may give again.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you.
All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all.
There's a Wednesday meditation, which is treat and move your feet. That means pray and move your feet. And that's facilitated by Deborah Gibson. That's on Zoom. We're visioning for our center. That's 3 sessions, May 5th through the 19th. And you can sign up for that on the website. That's kind of to discern Spirit's intention, the God qualities that we wish to bring forth in the center over the next coming year or so. There is a Vesak celebration, which is the triple birthday of the Buddha. That's facilitated by David Kerrigan and Brock Travis, and that's on our website as well. A metamorphosis class that is taught by Bernie Austin and Lita Martin. That's on Mondays. It's starting pretty soon, so you may want to jump on the website and sign up for that. They're both fantastic teachers and beautifully enlightened beings. There's an Enneagram workshop, that's part 2, on Saturday, May 14th. This is taught by Reverend Jean Hoffman, who's a minister at another center, but a good friend of mine. She lives near me. And she's really a wonderful expert on the Enneagram, so go ahead and check out our website for that. We are still looking for hospitality volunteers and tech volunteers. We're doing various outreach projects that many of you know about, serving in Family to Family, which is serving lunch to unhoused folks on the first Mondays, and then Lift Up Your Voice, which helps rehome people and provide them with items that they need. More information for that is on the website. Choir rehearsals happen at 11:30 to 12:30. They're in person and they're here and also on Zoom. And then after service, you can pray with a practitioner, as Lonnie described. You can fill out one of those cards, but you can also get an in-person prayer with one of the practitioners. Notice them by wearing their white stoles that they're wearing. You can go in there and get some delicious food prepared to us by our hospitality gods and goddesses. And we also have a bookstore and a giveaway table with free books and free puzzles if you'd like to check that out. For those of you at home watching, feel free to pass the link along so we can help spread the word. And I think that's it for now. So let us pray. We turn within to trust and know that truly this time together has been good and very good. That the one life that is God's life has shown up and brought us here by divine appointment to unify in spirit, to remember who we are, and to realize the grace and the power and the presence that moves through us in every detail of our lives. Even when we can't see it, it is there. And so I celebrate the transformation that is taking place here today. I celebrate the growth of our community, the depth of our community, the wisdom of our community, and most of all, the love of our community that ripples out and blesses the world through our spiritual work together. How wonderful it is to know that Spirit is here, that we are one with God, and that all is well. I give thanks for all things, and with an open heart, I release these words to the divine mystery, and together we say, and so it is.